Okay, we're taking a look now at Thunder at the Crossroads. Now, this will be my, fifth video on Gettysburg games. I kind of collect these things. And Thunder at the Crossroads is a game I've heard about for years and years and years. It's been out of print for a long time, and I've never been able to secure a copy. And I don't even know if I'm going to post this video. This video is more for my own consumption. What I'm going to do is try a practice game of it and see how it goes. I'll follow my usual plan, which is to move the Confederates, then the Union, and then shoot a short video to show you what's happening. Now each turn in this game represents about a half hour, and many of the people on Board Game Geek say that this is one of the better Gettysburg games around. Certainly probably the best on the brigade level. Now I've read the rules twice now. There's a lot to digest, and the meat of this game system is the command rules, and I think I've got them down okay. I'm a little unclear on some of the fire combat, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, so I'll just do some videos about every half hour. It's just a practice game, my first time, solitaire, and I might make a mess of the rules, I don't know. But I'm very curious about this classic game, and from what I read, I'm very impressed with this game, so maybe it will turn out to be my favorite Gettysburg game. We'll just see how this goes. Okay, we're looking at the positions at 8:30 a.m. after the Union have moved. Now I took Devon's division with Gamble. They columned up and moved down the Chambersburg Pike closer to the edge of the board. Devon's brigade stayed in its initial position because it's under orders to guard the Carlisle and Harrisburg roads. Reynolds has come up, moving his full movement factors, and we've got the brigades of Meredith and Cutler coming up the Emmitsburg Road as fast as they can. So that's the move for the Union at 8:30, and there are no Confederate units on the board till 9 o'clock, so the Union will be moving again for 9 a.m. Okay, I almost forgot that at 8:30 another division comes up here, Robinson's division, and it's just come on to the Emmitsburg Road now too. So I'll be doing the 9 o'clock turn. The Union will move first again. We'll shoot some footage after that. Okay, here's the situation after the Confederates have moved for the 9 o'clock turn. Now they've deployed Davis's brigade to the left of the pike. There's General Heath with them. They've deployed some artillery, and we've got Archer's brigade. So now, for the first time, we are within fire range of some units. I'll just check the rules for the defensive fire, and we'll see if we get our first fire in. Okay, if I'm doing this correctly, the Confederates have just moved, and then the non-phasing player would have his fire combat, and we certainly have batteries within range of the Confederates to fire there, plus we have an extended line of Gamble's brigade that could fire long range at Davis. So let me just look at the calculations on the chart and see if it's worth it for the Union to fire. Okay, if I've done this right, Gamble's brigade fired here on Davis' brigade and actually caused him to have a bloodlust result on him, so raising his morale. Guess it pissed him off, and now they're mad. Now the guns here fired on Archer's brigade. They got a hit and one straggler, so I hope I've done that right. Now it's taking me a while to look these results up, so things are going slow but sure. So far I like what I see. Let's see if the game moves along though. Okay, the Confederates took their offensive fire, and they had the 3rd Corps artillery fire on Gamble, and they got a morale result against Gamble, and Gamble got a DG result, which is sort of disorganized and had to fall back. And Davis decided, well, he's actually out of range to fire. So at the end of the Confederate turn, they've disorganized Gamble's brigade, but they've taken some losses and stragglers. Oh, and by the way, Gamble took a hit too. So a bit of an exchange of fire here. Gamble's fallen back, and Heath and Davis are kind of advancing. And Davis has got his blood up, so he's raring to go. So that's the end of the Confederate turn. So the next turn we do will be the 9:30 Union turn. Okay, I don't know if I did it right or not, but according to the combat chart, when Gamble's brigade got disorganized, he didn't have to retreat because he was stacked with a battery. I'm having a hard time finding the disadvantages of being disorganized. I think it's only a combat effect, but I can't find it anywhere simply in the rules. So anyway, it's the Union turn, and what I'm going to do is have Gamble here either gallop and back up or stay in line, I don't know, but certainly the battery's getting out of there from those two Confederate brigades. Okay, that's the Union 9:30 move. Gamble has fallen back, and the battery has fallen back, still limbered. The 1st Corps, 1st Division is approaching the town, as is the 2nd. Way off to the rear, we've got Barlow's division from the 11th Corps marching towards Gettysburg, and their orders are to march to Gettysburg and halt. So I'll have to write new orders for them when the time comes. And good old Devon is still watching those roads to the north. And we still have a bit of disorganization in Gamble's column, and I'll have to see how we remove that. Okay, nothing too complicated for the Confederate 9:30 turn. Archer and Davis advanced in line, and 2 more brigades came up in column, and another battalion of artillery. Also, the other battalion went up to this ridge and doesn't have enough movement points to unlimber. So 9:30, 2 more brigades came up, and there's no defensive firing. So we're on to the 10 o'clock turn for Union. Okay, here's the Union move for 10 o'clock. We've got Buford falling back and Wadsworth Division coming right up. Reynolds has taken a posting at the seminary, and other elements of the 1st Corps are approaching Cemetery Hill. Devon still guarding the roads to the north. Further down, Barlow's division of the 11th is marching towards Gettysburg, and Schurz's division is marching towards Gettysburg. Howard's gone on ahead of them. So overall, that's the situation. And very little combat, just mainly slowly falling back. I should point out that Buford's troopers there changed from disrupted status to shaken status. Slight change there. That seems to be automatic. So the Confederates will now move for 10 a.m. Okay, I don't see any movement effects for the railroad cuts, so as an example, I'm just going to show the movement here of Davis's brigade. So I think he can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what he'll do. So he'll be striking part of Gamble's brigade there. And we'll have Archer do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll strike that unit. Now, division leaders always have to end their turn stacked with a unit of their division, it says. Don't really want to have Heath go into primary there, so I might just unlimber these batteries. Go half and unlimber. Oh, that's infantry, pardon me. Well, just unlimber this battery here. Nope, it's hard to tell the units in this game once you get used to it. Okay, I'll unlimber that battery, right. And these guys will change formation. That costs 1, 2, 3, 4. What the heck, they'll go in 5, 6. And he'll change formation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Heath will have to be stacked with the Corps artillery. Now I'll have to check the command ranges. I know you have to be a certain distance away from your division leader to make that combat. So let's see what that distance is. Okay, the Confederates did their fire also, and they inflicted some casualties on Gamble. And so it's just an exchange of fire back and forth here. The Confederates haven't made much headway. They're taking casualties, but they're also inflicting casualties. They didn't have enough movement points to do close combat, so we'll be doing the 10:30 Union turn, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, this is the situation after the Union have moved their 10:30 turn. The 11th Corps unit's still coming up there. 3rd Division of the 1st Corps coming through the town, and Wadsworth and Cutler, Iron Brigade, they fell back, and Gamble's Shaken Brigade is there. Devon's still guarding the roads to the north. So the Union are giving ground. We'll now do the 10:30 Confederate turn. Okay, this is the move after 10:30, after the Confederates have moved. Now, I don't know if I've done this right, but I calculated the movement points correctly. That Archer and Davis do have enough movement points to melee with Cutler here. And Pettigrew does have enough movement points to melee with the Iron Brigade. So what we're now going to do is the Union defensive fire. Now, this could be pretty mean because we've got some guns here in primary, and we'll pick up the action after I've done the Union defensive fire. Okay, just as a clarification, when I did the movement phase there and did the close combats, you're actually supposed to enter the hex. So this fellow, Pettigrew, did have enough movement points to enter the hex, so he goes in, as did these two brigades. Actually, I better check the stacking on that, and then I'll correct it. Okay, well, I hope I'm doing this right, but it says no more than 3 A-level units may stack on the same square, so Archer and Davis can stack as far as I know. So Davis has got the Bloodlust marker on him. Put it on top of that. Archer on top. So we've got a few melees here. Now, close combat, or rather, fire is going to happen before the close combat goes in, so this could get pretty ugly. Let's see what happens. Okay, I just did the close combat attacks here, and we had some pretty interesting results because I got some crazy numbers. Davis and Archer drove Cutler's brigade out and actually ended up routing it because of the bad die roll he got, so he routed out. Pettigrew did assault the Iron Brigade here, got a no result, so he had to retreat backwards. Now, if I read the table right, and I'm pretty sure I did, I got this no effect result here, which means the attacker loses. Now it says that there's supposed to be a little spot here that shows that the defender wins, so that's missing. In my tables, it's blank. And I went to the originals, and it's blank too. So, well, it's a small thing, but I don't know how they missed that in proofreading, especially after a second edition. Anyway, the Pettigrew was repulsed. Then when I checked for morale, like I'm supposed to, he rolled an 11. And the way I read the modifiers, that's what it says. It says you shift down, which is down here, and you rolled an 11. So I don't know what that means. His morale... Okay, as I was mentioning, the Pettigrew got... he rolled a 13, and he's B class, which according to this is Bloodlust. So that's what the table says, that's what the roll is, but it just seems kind of weird that he does a melee, is repulsed, and then he gets a Bloodlust modifier, which is good. Just a little odd. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. They're so angry that they lost the morale, the melee that they got the morale up. Just seems a little funny. Anyway, I'll put the marker on them, but my gut feeling tells me I'm doing something wrong there. So that's the end of the 10:30 turn, with the Confederates having finished their close combats. And with that, then we've got the rally phase, but nobody's close enough there. So that ends the 10:30 turn. The next turn will be the 11 o'clock Union turn. And I might be able to wrap up this video. Of course, I'm not doing the whole battle here, just learning the system. But I'm seeing it's a very detailed system. There's a lot of moving parts to this game. Then you've got lots of charts to look up, lots of die rolling. Let's go on to the 11 o'clock Union turn. Okay, it's the 11 o'clock turn, and I've had to write my first order because right now Howard doesn't really have any orders. The last orders for his corps are to march to Gettysburg and stop. But the situation is changing to the west of town, so I've got Reynolds writing a written order to Howard, working it out that it'll only take one turn. So next turn, I'll have to go through the procedure to see if Howard receives the order and how he reacts to it. We've got an interesting situation here now. First Corps is very hard pressed. They've got a routed brigade that's going to take a long time to rally, and Robinson's brigades have just moved up here. We've got Buford falling back and shaken, and the First Corps lost a gun when they pulled out of the zone of control of Pettigrew. Reynolds' headquarters is at the seminary. Now we've got an interesting situation here because Doubleday's division, like in history, it came in on this Hagerstown Road and is coming in on the flank of the Confederates and should be able to bolster up the Union left flank. So we've got a very historical situation developing here, and the game is quite accurate in that sense. And we've got the 11th Corps units just approaching Cemetery Hill, but they will have to await orders, and we'll see what happens next turn. So that's it for the movement phase for the Union. And they would now have, let's see, the far combat phase, straggler, recover, and rally. So I'll have to see how these units rally here for rout. I think this guy's going to have to rout again because he's within 6 hexes of an enemy. I'll just check. Okay, I'm understanding the rally phase a bit better now, especially with the bloodlust. The bloodlust markers are actually removed if they're not adjacent to an enemy. So the Confederates have calmed down now. The bloodlust markers have been removed. There was a shaken marker which is automatically removed, and luckily for good old Cutler, who was in a routed status, he rolled favorably and now is just disorganized. So the Union have recovered a little bit from their disorganization, and now it's the Confederates for 11 o'clock. Let's see what they can do. Okay, A.P. Hill, the Corps commander, arrives this turn, and his orders are to still attack along the Chambersburg Pike. So let's see what the Confederates can do in their turn. Okay, I'm a little bit unclear about one of the rules. The division leaders, it says they have to be stacked with units of their division at all time. And yet, in order to do a close combat, the brigades of that division have to be within the command radius, which happens to be 3. So I'm not sure how you get a general, within 3 when you don't have units within 3 that can stack with him. I don't really feel like having Hill go into primary, but looks like he may have to. Don't know about that. Now I've unlimbered these artillery pieces to get good shots here at Buford and Robinson. Don't know what I'm going to do with Pettigrew yet. I think Pettigrew's pretty shot up though. And I think I'll pause for a bit. I'll move Pettigrew over here and move Brockenborough up here to long range, and that's the Corps headquarters. So we've got a limited attack going in there with Davis and Archer. So we'll be doing Union defensive fire, and we'll see what happens there. Okay, that's the end of the 11 o'clock turn. Not too much happened there. Bit of long-range firing from the Confederate artillery. They shook up Paul a bit. He had to back up. Had some various straggler losses, and the Confederates took some losses too. So just overall losses along the front. And I can see that these losses eventually are going to accumulate. That if you don't pause and start recovering stragglers, you're going to feel it. So that's it for the 11 o'clock turn. We'll then do the Union 11:30 turn. That's it for now. Okay, a recap of the 11:30 turn before the Union moves. 11th Corps approaching Cemetery Hill, many elements of it, and I've given them new orders, which Howard will receive soon. And we've got the First Corps pretty well engaged closely there with Davis and Archer, with Doubleday's division coming up there. So we'll get the Union move and see what happens. Okay, that's the situation after the Union have moved for the 11:30 turn. They've got a good line here up on Seminary Ridge. They bolstered it. There's artillery. It's looking much healthier. And the 11th Corps has just got into the town. So we'll do the fire combats now and see what happens. Okay, that's the positions after the defensive fire Confederate and the offensive fire Union. No physical change in the positions, but a lot of casualties along the front here, especially the Confederates. And Brockenborough's brigade is really chewed up. So one thing I like about this game is it's very subtle. The lines don't change much. At first you don't think anything's happening, but the casualties are beginning to amount, and units I'm sure are going to start breaking. So that's the 11:30 Union turn. Let's see what the Confederates can do. Okay, I should point out that we've got our first wrecked brigade, and that's Brockenborough. As you can see, his casualties and stragglers have approached the check mark, which means he's now wrecked. And since Brockenborough is one brigade of Heath's division, we have to mark an X on Heath's to show that one of his brigades has been wrecked. Now you can become unwrecked by resting and getting some of these stragglers back. So this game has got an excellent system for retiring brigades and resting them so that they can fight again. So this is a sophisticated game, that's for sure. So I'll move the Confederates now, and maybe Brockenborough is just going to have to retire. Okay, that's the situation after the Confederates have moved. Now, I don't know how much in the spirit of the rules I'm defying the orders. The orders say attack down the Chambersburg Pike, which the Confederates are doing. But I feel they've just got to take a rest right now. With Brockenborough wrecked, they only have 3 brigades. There's a heck of a good Union line there. So I've had them fall back, Pettigrew into these woods, Brockenborough behind the ridge. And there's 4 hexes, so he's going to get straggler recovery. So all we'll do now is the defensive Union fire and the offensive Confederate fire. So we've got a pause in the battle, just like there was in real life. And just some long-range artillery firing. We'll resolve that now. Okay, I think I've played enough of the game to give it a fair evaluation. And it will be a favorable evaluation. I've got to the noon turn here. We've got Heath's division attacking down the Chambersburg Pike, and he now has to rest. The First Corps has got a good line here, and the 11th Corps is coming up. Now all kinds of new stuff will be coming in, like the orders and the orders acceptance, which I haven't got to yet. But I just wanted to do a preliminary play of this game to see if I would like it. And I definitely do. I'm almost ready to say that it's the best brigade level Civil War game I've seen. And all the hoopla about the game I think is warranted. It is a good game. One other comment, I suppose. I think it is the best brigade Civil War game I've seen. For sure. It's detailed and it's accurate. But I think you've got to delight in the actual play of it to enjoy it. I wonder if, with so much detail in there, that one might be better off just playing a regimental battery game, like 3 Days of Gettysburg, Terrible Swords, Summer Storm, one of the big ones. Now, of course, the big ones have those large maps and are huge commitments of time. But this one, I think, is going to be a huge commitment of time also. But, I don't know. Of course, this one you've got more titles, smaller battles, South Mountain, Champions Hill, things like that. So my evaluation of Thunder at the Crossroads is very favorable. I think it's a very good game. It's certainly one I want to come back to. And I could see me playing this one time. So I hope that gives you some idea of what the Civil War Brigade series is all about. Thank you for watching.